All right, good morning, traders. Today is April 22nd, 2024. Thank you for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 498.65. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 are in downtrends. All 5 except Diamond Dow made lower lows and lower highs, closing below the bearish trap, below the 17 EMA. Now, Diamond Dow made a higher high and a higher low, different from the other 4, closing inside the bearish trap below the 17 EMA. It's also in a downtrend. Gold near an all-time high, silver near a 3-year high, both still in uptrends, made higher highs and higher lows, closing above their bullish traps over the 17 EMA. USO also in an uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing under the trap and under the 17 EMA. UNG in a downtrend near the all-time low, made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside the bearish trap under the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in an uptrend, closed the day around the 106.10 area. All right, let's take a look at some charts. All right, first chart, SPY. All right, lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap. See, there's 3 still. The yellow line right here, 3 is the 3 EMA. All right, so 3 underneath the 8 EMA, underneath the 17 EMA. So you got a bearish stack on the daily chart. Price below the 3, 3 below the 8, 8 below the 17. We're in a downtrend. We broke the consolidation low right here, so we're in a downtrend. Plus we made a lower low and another lower low with a lower high. So there you go. So we're in a downtrend here on SPY. All right, for the morning point. All right, so where's my pivot this morning? 498.60. So right about there. See at the top of this wick? They clear that wick and hold that area up there around 498.60. Good chance we go up there and visit 500. If we hang out there long enough, I like to see us climb on top of it. If we cannot get over 500, just a warning, we could see 480. Got to get up on top of 500. Might not happen today. All right? I'm not planning on it happening today. Maybe tomorrow, if they got it in them. But if we can't get on top of 500, it's a good chance we're coming down to test 480. So we'll see what happens here. I think we do. The economy's not that bad, but we'll see what happens. We have some conflicts around the globe. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we're gapping up this morning. You can see where we left off yesterday. We're gapping up, and we're moving up towards the 500 number. Preferably today, what I think is going to happen is we get up to 500 and we just consolidate right underneath it. That's what I think will happen. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but that's what I think is going to happen. We're going to get up under 500 and just grind away and consolidate right underneath it. So we'll see what happens. So let's go check out the 2-hour chart. All right, so here's 2-hour chart. All right, in the pre-market, now when we left off yesterday, we still had the bearish stack. And that would be price, 3 EMA, 8 EMA, under the falling 17 EMA. So we still had the bearish stack. In the pre-market, okay, we don't quite have the bearish stack. We've got price on top of the 3, with the 3 almost crossing the 8 EMA, and price kind of looking and got its eyeballs on the 17 EMA. So not quite a bearish stack there. All right, so we're looking for a 10-minute downtrend, but I don't know if we get it today. All right, so on the bigger picture, we got a bearish stack. On the 2-hour, the stack is closing out. Okay, on the 2-hour. So I'm looking for a possible move up to 500 and then probably consolidate right underneath it. We'll see what happens, all right? So let's go back to the daily chart. Let's take a look at QQQ. You can see QQQ just like SPY and the other three. Lower high, lower low, closing underneath bearish trap. Also underneath the 17 EMA. So you get the bearish trap and price underneath the falling 17 EMA. All right, so let's just take a picture of this and let's put the quad lines in. All right, so this would be the 30% mark right about there, 415, right? So like to see this kind of hang out in the upper third, and I think it will. So I really think SPY and QQQ and FNGU wind up holding this bullish move that they just made, hanging out in the upper third. So I'm picturing a kind of a slow move back up and then grind back up. I think we're going to go through some sector rotation. I think you're going to see Amazon start to print some new all-time highs, even though it did earlier. But I think it's time for retail to kind of take over and tech to give it up for a little while, take a rest, take a breather, and let a little market rotation happen. All right, so here's QQQ trying to hang on to the upper third. All right, on the daily chart, what do we got? Like I said before, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish stack, under the bearish trap, under a falling 17 EMA. So I think a move back to the 17, well, a move back to the 8 would be normal, and maybe even a move back to the 17 a little later. All right, it's going to take a lot just to get us back to the 8, because that is a big candle down right there. So there's QQQ. All right, let's take a look at IWM. IWM, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, under the falling 17 EMA. All right, let's do the same thing here. All right, let's just kind of take a peek at what's going on. Okay. They got a little bit lower than 30% in my opinion. But here was an inverse head and shoulders right here, that being the head, left shoulder, right shoulder here. And they got right into that shoulder line right there. And they got some green showed up, so that's nice. All right, so like to see them climb back into this upper third. All right, they're close. I think they might do it today. We'll see what happens. All right, maybe sometime this week. All right, like to see them make a higher low. We have a low, a higher low here, and like to see them hold off of breaking this low right there. That low is 190.18. I'd like to see that 190.18 hold and price to start moving its way back up. So there's IWM, still in a downtrend. All right, so we're looking for, on the bigger picture, 10-minute downtrends in IWM, QQQ, SPY, all right? We're getting pullbacks right now, all right? So, but we might not even get a 10-minute downtrend today. Might not happen till tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. And then who knows what tomorrow looks like. We might be looking for uptrends. All right, so there's IWM. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. Big candle. Hopefully that's the big candle at the end of the move, signaling the end of the move, all right? Get a lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, underneath the 17 EMA right there, all right? So that's still bearish, all right? Let's take a look at FNGU with the quad lines on there, okay? So like to see them crawl back up into, well, pretty much where they opened Friday, right there. That would be the upper third. Get back up on top of this this wick right there, and this bearish engulfing right there. Like to see them crawl back up there. Might not happen today. Might take 2 days to get back up there. At least get back up there and test it. That's what I'd like to see. All right, so there's FNGU. All right, let's take that. Actually, I'm just going to leave that on there. All right, so there's FNGU. So let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow on the daily chart. Higher low, higher high. Closing inside the bearish trap. Okay, kind of curling that 3 EMA right there. See how much time it takes to turn the ship around? 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're still not back around yet. Almost 5 days, and it's trying. This is what it takes, a long time to turn the ship around. All right, so here they are. They're coming down. It's taking them 4 or 5 days just to get it back pointed in the other direction. All right, so here's yesterday's price action. Closing still bearish, still very much bearish. All right, closing inside the bearish trap underneath the falling 17 EMA. Diamond Dow, let's put the quad lines on there. And notice Diamond Dow is hanging on to the upper third, like that. Okay, I like to see Diamond Dow just kind of now consolidate back and forth between 400 and 375. Just consolidate here for a while, maybe even 2 or 3 months, you know, until they come up with the Fed cuts, the rate hike, instead of rate hikes, maybe some rate cuts, okay, from the FOMC, and that'll give it some juice to get going again. All right, so there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at, let's go take a look at our technicals, all right? So here's our technicals. We're putting in ever so slightly higher lows and making ever so slightly higher highs. Okay, another higher low. Still like to see us put that higher high in right there. Got a little wedge going on here today. So there's the 19th. You can see right there, a little higher low, a little bit higher low, another little higher low. All right, but also, can't forget it, got some lower highs, you know, hidden in here. All right, so still in the sell zone when we left off Friday. All right, I think, pretty sure, we'll be in this chop zone sometime later today. If not, maybe back at the midpoint. We'll see what happens. So that's T2122. T2123. All right, you can see it was red from the beginning of the day almost to the end of the day. They had one green candle right there at the very end of the day, kind of signaling maybe they want to turn things around, but we had a green candle there. Nothing to get excited about yet. They have not turned things around. On the 3-bar chart, we are hitting a rising 200 SMA right there. All right, these are the prior all-time highs right up there. 634.905. That's the prior all-time high. You can see we came up there. We did what I wanted it to do was to consolidate, but I wanted them to consolidate a little longer and hold and then eventually break out. Well, they couldn't hold it. Okay, so now they're coming back and they're testing that rising 200 SMA on the 3-bar chart. Is that the 3? Yeah, on the 3-bar chart. All right, so like to see them bounce. Like to see a nice bounce off of here and start heading back to the midpoint and then eventually consolidate and then hopefully back to the prior highs. There's T2123. All right, let's take a look at our FNGU indicator. Okay, you can see it was red from the beginning of the day to the end of the day and even into the post-market. In the pre-market, we're getting a little bit lift. We'll see what happens. So big cap taking it on the chin. That's FNGU. All right. All right. Let's go back and take a look at a few sectors real quick. And no, we'll take a look at. Let's take a look at energy, USO. Okay, so USO is in an uptrend, putting in a series of. We had a double bottom here, got a triple bottom here, almost a quadruple bottom right through here. Okay. Then we put in a higher low after putting in a double top. All right. Consolidated. Put in another higher low after. Well, then we put in a little higher high. Kind of had a breakout. Pull back. Tested this double top right here. It held. Okay. So that put in another higher low. Then we got a nice pop over this high, making another higher high. Pull back into the 80 EMA. Got another higher low. Then another breakout, okay, making another higher high. And now we're consolidating. And we're right back into minor support right here. That'd be this candle right there that sticks up. And you see price coming down, hitting that. So USO still in an uptrend, okay, unless it breaks this low right here, 76.37. Okay, so still in an uptrend. Even though it's red, even though price action for yesterday, all right, for Friday, lower high, lower, excuse me. Yeah, higher high, higher low, closing under the bearish trap, under like a flat 17 EMA. Price action today, kind of pulling right into that minor support right there. Like to see it hit minor support and then bounce back to the midpoint. So there's USO, all right? Let's take a look at UNG. UNG, different story, not in an uptrend like USO. UNG in a downtrend near the all-time lows. This is the all-time low right here. It's about 1390 right there. So yesterday's price action, Friday's price action for UNG. Okay, higher low, higher high, but still closing in the bearish trap underneath a flat or falling 17 EMA. So still bearish, still in a downtrend. No sign of them putting up a fight. Okay, no sign of them putting up a fight at all. Couple of rallies up to here, but just still unable to make that higher high. They did make a higher high here, but you know the very next day they lost it. Okay, so they won a little battle, but they surely are not winning the war. Okay, so UNG still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at precious metals. Here's SLB in an uptrend with higher lows and higher highs and higher lows, and again higher highs. Got a little pullback today, but yesterday, Friday's price action, we got a higher high and a higher low closing over the bearish trap, over the bullish trap, over the rising 17 EMA. Gold, I think, is doing the same thing. Okay, here's gold, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17 EMA. Gold giving us a nice little pullback today. Like to see a pullback to the midpoint, maybe about 210. Like to pick some up about there, 210. Preferably around 205, really. But 210 would be kind of like the shopping. The shopping could commence at around 210. So there's gold, still in an uptrend. This is an all-time high for gold right up here. And price action for that is 225.26. Okay. So that's the all-time high for gold. Silver, not an all-time high, but that's a 3-year high right up there, 27.24. It's about a 3-year high right there. So nice going on silver. So both near their recent all-time, not all-time highs, but recent highs. Right there, just kind of hanging out. They're still bullish. This is not going to be bearish unless it breaks this consolidation low at 22.32. Don't think we're coming that far back. We'll see what happens. If it comes all the way back to minor support, oh, that would be a very nice opportunity for buyers coming back to minor support, which should be 23.50, about there. 23.50 right into this 23.20. That would be really nice, hitting minor support and then reversing to go back in the other direction. All right, let's take a look at XLI. These are our industrials. All right, you can see industrials in a downtrend. Haven't quite, yeah, we're in a downtrend here in the industrials. We broke this low right here. All right, so industrials in a downtrend. Excuse me. Friday's price action is lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap underneath the falling 17 EMA. I don't think industrials are going to come down that far. They look like they're rocking. Yeah, see, they're still in the upper quadrant. You got the indices testing the 30% mark or the 33% mark. Industrials aren't even out of the top 25 yet. They're just really still very, very bullish here. So industrials still looking good. All right, so industrials in a little downtrend right now, but I don't think it will last too much longer. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Again, it's just my opinion. All right, let's take a look at XLK. XLK in a downtrend with a lower high and a lower low, breaking below these pivot lows. Okay, it's what I'm talking about, sector rotation. Here we are hitting some minor support right there. Okay, so we'll see, we're getting a little green candle today. Are we going to get a bounce? We'll see what happens. Maybe it happens later in the day. We'll see what happens here. But lower high, lower low, closing below the bearish trap underneath the falling 17 EMA. So that's our technology sector right there. All right, let's take a look at SMH. So semiconductors, all right. Semiconductors right into minor support right here. See if they can get a bounce right in there. All right, so semiconductors, lower high, lower low, closing below the bearish trap underneath the 17 EMA. In the big picture, where are they from this? Okay, so they got to get back up over 206, and I think that they will. All right, maybe they pull back to the 50-yard line and then bounce to 206. We'll see what happens. Like to see them hang out in the upper third, and they sure are testing the situation right now. So there's SMH, semiconductors, big fallout day on Friday. All right, so right there, like to see them get back over. See this support area right there where these come up and these come down? Well, right there, 205. Like to see them get over 205.50. That would get them back into the upper third. That would be nice. That's SMH, semiconductors. All right, let's go visit two more. Let's take a look at XLF. All right, XLF putting in a higher low. Now notice XLF on Friday, different story going on here. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bearish trap. Over the bearish trap, not under, over. So in between the trap and the 17 EMA. All right, so financials already staging a rally on Friday right there. Look at this. They're already headed back to those prior highs. Okay, they look like they got their eyeballs on right up here, this triple top. So we'll see what happens. That's XLF. The pullback there. Okay, so XLF was pretty bullish on Friday with that kind of gapping up, higher low, and a higher high. Okay, didn't look like the others. Did you see that? SMH didn't look like that. XLK didn't look like that. They were all like big red candles down. So financials moving up. So I don't know if something's going on. Maybe they got some favorable rates from the bond market. But there's XLF. Let's take a look at transports. So you notice transports don't look anything like XLF. Kind of looks like the rest of the market. Lower high, lower low. Closing below the bearish trap under the falling 17 EMA. All right. See if transports can hang out in the upper third. They sure are testing the line right there. All right, so hopefully they can reverse and climb back into the upper quadrant. Transports in a downtrend, breaking the low right here, putting them in a downtrend. Like to see them come back and at least test that low. All right, so possible bounce day either today or tomorrow. Again, possible. We may be headed for 480. We'll see. It's possible. Hanging out in the upper third is a preferable situation for investors and the markets. A pullback to the 50 might be in order. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like to see everything hang out in the upper third or recover back to the upper third if they fell out of it. So that's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to take questions in the room. And it says 470, 480 is also 382 if you measure. Yes, and it's also the prior high. Yes, Joanne. Joanne's speaking about the SPY. Okay. Joanne's pointing out that the 382 fib pullback is 480, which may be a target. It could be. Again, we're in the upper third. It's possible we come down to 479, 480, and that would be the 382 fib. I don't know where we are in relation to the 2-3. I think there's a 236 fib. I know there's a 2-3 one, but I can take a look at it later on. But if you look, this is a prior high. That's the market's prior high is 479, 480 right there. So that would be a pullback to minor support. If you were looking at this on a monthly chart, okay? So if you looked at this on a monthly chart, that would be the minor support. It's possible they're pulling back to minor support and then stage a rally from there. We'll see what happens for another 5 legs up higher. So maybe a 3-bar pullback to the minor support and then another 5 legs higher. We'll see what they want to do. All right, let's see if they can hang on to this upper third right now. If not, like I said, good chance we're coming back to 480. And like Joanne said, the 382 Fibonacci pullback. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, so if there's no questions, I want us to thank everybody out there in video land. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for putting a thumbs up. Thanks for all the nice comments. I really appreciate that. That helps with the algorithm. Same thing on Facebook. Everybody that joined there, participating, having some input, having those discussions. I love that. So thank you, everybody. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and render this video and get it out there for everybody to see. And let's hope we get a little pullback today, back to the 500. Like to see us get back on top of 500, but I'll take consolidating right underneath 500.40. Consolidating right underneath there by the end of the day. I'll take that if I can't get on top of 500 and consolidate. Maybe get back up to 500.46. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. All right, so we're in the pre-market. We're at 497.35. That's still higher than where we left off on Friday. So we'll see. Yeah. We're around the 236 right now. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was a 236. Thanks, Joanne. All right, everybody. All right, I will be back on at about 9:20, 9:15, and we'll kick off the market. Again, we're looking for 10-minute downtrends. I don't think we're going to find it. And if we do find them, I don't know that they're going to last that long. Being since we are at the 236 and it's time for a little bounce, we're at the upper third of the last move. So we'll see what happens. I'm more inclined to looking for 10-minute uptrends. All right. 10-minute uptrends would be something I'd like to find. All right. So we'll see what happens. All right. So I'm going to go render my video.